George Bernard Shaw's play Widower's House deals with gentrification, rent hikes, and social justice. Sound familiar? That's as relevant today as it was when it debuted in 1892, and it is playing at Berkeley's Aurora Theatre. And here to tell us more about it is the star of the show, Gene Sullivan. Welcome to Bay Area Focus.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, this is great. So you play the character Cocaine.
Yes.
What a name.
Yes. What a name. I'm not really the star of the show. I'm in it. It's a very ensemble piece. Yes. And I play a kind of a fixer in a way. Okay. Someone who's trying to help the aristocracy kind of move to this new bourgeois idea of just being tenement landlords. Okay. And trying to hook people up in a certain way.
So you touched on the play. I mean, really it has to do with gentrification and
yes.
rent hikes. Things that we can all relate to now, today, right. Especially in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why the Aurora picked it, because it shows how long these problems have been around. People simply making money off of the misery of others, kicking people out of housing, always saying, well, you know, if these people can't afford this housing, should we upgrade it, or should we just find a way to get them out, upgrade it for a better client, basically, a better class? And what happens to those people who are kicked out? Who cares? So, and again, the show, the way it deals with it, the way it deals with the money and the finance, to us as the actors, when we were rehearsing, it felt very dense. Mm-hmm. But the audiences follow it. You could see them leaning forward and listening to each bit of the financial story that's going along. And
they understand it.
Yeah, and they understand it because they are living it, and they're seeing how it affects their lives, and also seeing how the characters justify what they do. Right. How does someone own a tenement and not upgrade it, not make it safe for the people who are living there, but going, but you know, am I supposed to just throw money away? How am I supposed to take care of it? Is it really my responsibility to help those less fortunate folk that are my, you know, my tenants?
Yeah. Is it okay to burn money in the fireplace when
right,
people
yes.
are starving?
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you have, you know, if having a tenement in London at that time, and people are like, it's cold, it's winter, it's snowing, so they're taking the stairs and burning them because they don't have any wood. Yeah. Is it the landlord's responsibility to replace the stairs? Should they replace them with stone? Should they give them something else? Should they just forget it and say, you shouldn't burn down your own house? Should they provide them with firewood? Mm-hmm. You know, so it looks at all these things in a lot of different ways, but mainly it's about just justifying how you don't care.
Well, this play is pretty interesting because it's rarely produced.
Oh yeah, it's very. There was a production apparently recently that was done in Harlem, a few years ago, because everywhere that gentrification is starting to become a greater and greater issue, mm-hmm. more people are wanting to tell this story.
And this is a scene from the play right here. What's going on with these three guys?
Well, what happened is that the young man in the middle, Dan Hoyle, his character has found out that the woman that he loves, and they are planning to get married, and he's from the aristocracy, and she's from a bourgeois family, and he finds out that the money that she's going to inherit and the life that he's going to move into is all dependent on her father, who is a slumlord. He lives in a beautiful house. He has beautiful, you know, books and chairs, but this is how he makes his money. And how does this young man, this young idealistic man, feel about this? And at this particular moment is when he finds out that his personal income comes from a mortgage on those buildings.
Oh.
So his, you know, superiority when it comes to, well, I don't make money off of this, you're the only one that does this, you know. And then he realizes that all of the money he makes is interest off a mortgage on tenements.
Okay, so let's go over the role of cocaine. There have been some different pronunciations of it, right?
Yes,
cocaine
yes.
Or cocaine.
Or cocaine.
Or cocaine.
Trying to figure it out, yes.
Yeah. What made you take this role? And
well, to have a chance first to do a Shaw play, they're very rare. People don't do them. They'll do My Fair Lady. They don't necessarily do Pygmalion, you know, or like Widow's Houses or Miss Warren's Profession. These shows that are social activist plays. People forget how much of an activist Shaw was. He spent his career writing amazing books. There's a book, it's like Feminist Guide to Socialism, you know, these books that were about trying to change the world. And at the same time, as a theater critic, was one of his other jobs, but he also started thinking, well, shouldn't theater be doing more? And at this point in Victorian England, it was very much about it's just an entertainment. It's just something, a divertissement, you know. And Shaw was like, no, we can do more with theater. We can try to affect and change the audience, give them information they didn't have before. So much of modern theater is based on that idea that Shaw had. And so it's just such an honor for me to have a chance to do one of his great shows and his first play. You know, to say this is something he came out of the gates with. Let's change housing.
Right. And it's amazing that he's still speaking to audiences more than 100 years later.
Yes, yes. Those ideas, because they are those, you know, how greed is built into our culture. You know, how we, you know, whether or not we care about people. It's like Dickens. You know, every year people go and see Christmas Carol because it's about calling on our humanity. And how do we care for those who are less fortunate? You know, not necessarily less talented, not necessarily less intelligent, less fortunate. And is it our responsibility?
Okay, I'm sold. I want to see the play.
Great.
We're going to do this. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the show, and good luck with everything. And don't forget, Widowers Houses is playing at the Aurora Theatre in Berkeley through March 4th. For tickets, you can go to auroratheatre.org/widowers. Coming up, cosmetic acupuncture when Bay Area Focus returns in a moment.